I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Queer Eye After Show on AfterBuzz TV. We are so excited to be here. We love this show so much. I'm your girl, Trina Dong, and of course, I can't possibly gab about this show alone, so I am joined by a huge fan of the show, Kitty Kaboom. What's up, Kitty?
Yeah. I just want, before we leave, I need Ryan to vote for us just a few times because I know you be in the ball. I know you be in the ballrooms, baby.
Yeah, I need to be able to drop it to the floor.
Oh boy. Speaking of, Brian Santos, biggest fan of Anthony that you will ever meet, and I hear his ring finger is empty. Hello, Brian.
Hello, beautiful queen. So happy to be here with both of you. Can't wait to talk about this episode. This was a really good one. Super excited.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk tonight about Abby, the anxious activist. We're going to talk about what she's up to. How is she so young and doing this? Where she wrestles with confidence, maybe a lack of sophistication that she's looking for, and the organization that she's working for, and also a couple of big reveals. But first, let's just talk about overall thoughts on the show. Kitty, what'd you think?
Honestly, what struck me the most, the thing that I couldn't stop thinking about was that I hate that word, suffer. I have depression. I have anxiety issues. So I initially, when they first met her, and she literally could not even keep still, and she just seemed so awkward in her own skin, and she's so passionate about the stuff, but it seems like she's literally going to jump out of her heart, she's going to jump out of her chest. That's what I thought. But by the end of the show, she calmed down considerably.
Yeah.
She seemed to talk. So maybe that is all that it took. And I'm pretty sure that Karamu, being who he is, like how I just dropped that name, AfterBuzz alumni, don't I'm just saying, Karamu probably was he probably looked into that. And maybe that's not what she needed necessarily, so they didn't bring that to fruition or bring that up as an alternative. But that's the initial response I got. That's what I thought of her initially, and I'm glad to see that through the journey that they took her on, she was able to speak like a normal person and not socially awkward and not seem so tense that she was literally just going to implode. So it looks like, once again, Fab Five did their thug fizzle, and she
as always
pretty amazing.
As
so
always.
I enjoyed it. I'm sorry. I
said
said
no.
I liked it.
It's good. You should. We want to hear everything. Brian, what'd you think?
Saying I'm right there with you, Kitty. I loved how they just brought her out of her shell. She felt like she was such in a shell, so hidden. She didn't want to be seen, even though she's using her voice for such a large platform. She didn't want her personality, her true self to come through. And I love that they absolutely brought that out of her. And throughout the episode, what I absolutely adored throughout the entire time, everything they did was having her in mind of her awareness of sustainability, of the earth, of using things that are socially conscious. It was just such a beautiful thing to see. They were so aware. It was great. She had such a great makeover, so fun, and I really saw that twinkle in her eye when she finally got that final reveal.
Do you guys feel like that's a great deal of the appeal for this show, is that they're never ever tone deaf? If you say pink is my right?
Yeah.
Just come into your spot, and they won't drape you in pink and take you to the bridge, obviously. But they keep that in the front of their mind in terms of everything. I mean, I even feel like if I said pink was my jam, maybe Karamo, when we had our little one-to-one, would wear his favorite pink bomber. Right? I love that they literally take the time that's necessary and work with the producers and the writers to be able to create a storyline that's perfect for this person based on what the information that they've gotten from them, not what they think they should be doing, but what the person is shared they want to be doing. Let us bring you to where you already need to be, not make you into what we think you should be, which is I mean, come on, that is just
absolutely. That's one of the main reasons why we love it, is because they're not trying to change who the people are. The people already have their own thing, their own personalities, just making just a little upgrade. I liked the episode. At the beginning, I was a little judgy of the episode, I won't lie, because I was like, why does this young person who's 18 years old, who, you know, when we're 18, we all need the Fab Five, right? Like everybody,
I need that right now.
Everybody needs it forever. And so I was a little like, oh, weren't there any other options that may have needed this worse off? But I think that we all learned a lot from this specific episode, like you were saying, Kitty, about, you know, the anxiety of just life, and, you know, that needed to be addressed in order for her to be able to have a longer lasting and sooner, you know, positive effect on her career and her personal life. So at the end of it, I was like, yeah, this should have happened, but was a little judgy at the beginning.
Yeah, because she has such a cute shape. She's a pretty girl. When they like put real clothes on her that like show that she had, you know what I mean? That little tucked in shirt here, a little tight jeans there. Like I was like, okay, now you can get a bae. Like maybe she's not interested in having a bae, but if there was a bae to happen, this would be the time. Like that self-awareness and just being able to talk in a complete sentence without losing your entire like she literally made me think that she was going to jump out of it. She made me nervous, and I'm on the other side of the screen being in a room with her. So I'm just I was just so happy and grateful to Fab Five for creating what ended up being something that started out as like terrifying to me. Because that's all I could think. You know what I mean? Having anxiety myself, I was just like, oh my God, somebody please get her to a therapist.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what they are. So basically.
So there you go.
Well, let's get into her whole situation, right? Yeah. So this kid is right out of high school, and she is bossing up this organization. It's called the Sunshine Movement. Right. She lives in a house with a bunch of her coworkers, but it's kind of like a moving house because she has this, I don't know exactly what the title is, but she's there for a year.
Like a fellowship kind of thing.
A fellowship, that's the word I'm looking for. So she's in this house, and her friends basically report her as someone that does not sleep and considers hanging out with her friends and social life being at work. So it's the same for her. What did you guys think of this kid? And what did you think about just even thinking back to when I was that age? I had none of that stuff on the top of my brain. I only wanted to be with my friends. I would not have been living in a place in a random, you know, spot with people and bossing up a job. Right. Bryant, what did you think?
No, I am right there with you. Like, we would have to take a moment to commend her for what she's doing. All of them in that house, because like you said, at 18, I wasn't even remotely close to that self-awareness, that social consciousness of just putting your life on the back burner for the good of the planet, of society. So it's absolutely amazing what they're doing. And I agree with you, Trina. At the beginning, I was kind of like, oh, why did she get a makeover? But I think it was more than anything, just kind of like a reward or a reminder that like she needs this, she deserves this for what the amazing work she's doing. So I love seeing that. And I loved hearing the story that she is struggling with this idea of not balancing work and home life. And it's hard because her home life is at work and her work life is at home. So that's what she's really dealing with. So that's what the struggle is. And I'm happy that they kind of gave her that new space to kind of separate them.
Yeah. And I loved that her coworkers, colleagues, /friends, /family kind of, they're going to bat for her. They're like, come here, Karamo, let me tell you the real about what this girl's actually doing. She's not sleeping. She's not doing much of anything. She can't even cook in the kitchen. So, you know, what's she going to do? So, Kitty, let's go back to what you were talking about the anxiety part of this. And when she was approached for the first time by these guys, she was very like this, and, you know, not that a lot of young people aren't like that, because there are, you know, you got a shell to grow out of, you got a life to grow into. But how did you think this was going to go? And also, for a girl that's such a boss at the job, but couldn't have these conversations, what did you think of the conflict between those two things?
So again, I did note what stood out to me was just that she literally could not even keep herself together. While Anthony was talking to her about what the kitchen, was supposed to embody, and how he was promised her, I'm going to work with you. We're going to make a simple meal, something that works for everybody. It's not going to stress you out. You're not going to feel overwhelmed. I promise, I got you. Like that part kind of scared me. I literally was over here just like, oh my God, please somebody just hug her, like make her feel like she can just calm it down, right? Like that was huge to me. So that stood out. But I love that it came full circle, as we've mentioned, not just the makeover of the downstairs, which was absolutely necessary because she does live with all these random kids, but something that you asked me just now made me think about my own son, as I often do in these
we love
situations, because I think that everybody has their own way of growing into the adult that they are to become. But we tend to forget that people of this caliber, because she's a badass, as you said, she's a boss bitch. So she can definitely hold her own in Congress, as we saw. She's, many times in forums that oftentimes adults aren't able to or make sense of. But what we cannot forget is that she is still a child with a child's brain and a child's body still growing into what is to be. So a lot of times, because we take on these responsibilities and assume that because they're so smart, then somehow everything else catches up. And then when they do say something immature or make an immature choice, it's like, what's happening here? What do you mean what's happening? Her brain does not develop all the way until she's almost 30 freaking years old. To relax, you know what I mean? Like, take the beautiful things that she has brought to the table and look at them for exactly what they are, beautiful gifts, and just keep in mind at all times that she's still a work in progress. We all are, but even so at such a young age, to be living amongst these other I mean, she's not an adult and she's living an adult life. She's making choices
exactly.
Clearly she feels so strongly about it, that she's moving forward with it, reminding me, of course, of the young lady that went up against Trump, that took the boat all the way here to the US in order to avoid the emissions that come from a plane. Like, she was committed times I can't even fathom. She's a bad, come on now.
Yes, we love her. Come on, Abby.
That's a lot, girl. You are committed. So that's what I'm saying. Having that kind of level of commitment for a cause that you feel so strongly about, you should be asked to speak. You should be included in these discussions. You're already showing yourself, but we just have to coincide that with, you're still a baby girl. So that being said, we have to find a balance for you. And I really love that they came in and kind of gave her that love up, everybody, one big hug, and that her friends loved her enough to say, listen, she about to bust it. Like, she literally, somebody step in, because
do it.
You guys literally showed up in the nick of time. Like, tomorrow she might have imploded. So this is good that you're here and able to help walk her through it. It made me, I mean, you already know, my heart just was so full with her. She's so delicious, and I'm glad that she was able to. The only thing I will say, and I'm sorry if I'm off on a tangent, Shelby,
go.
Bring it back.
Go.
That darn Jonathan, let me tell you something. I love me some Jonathan. And I mean, how can you not, right? Because when you first meet him, you think that all that over the topness is just like, okay, we get it. You're gay. No, but he does it all the time. So clearly this is really who he is. What I have a problem with, I don't know if it's the producers that are telling him, let's stay within this and that in terms of what he does. But I just, when I looked at her hair, I was so like kind of disappointed. Like, I expected like a bob lady that starts up here and comes down and point. Something more dramatic, something more.
True. I agree.
Yeah. And it matched
for her mama to walk in and you done gave her mama a haircut. What is that saying? I don't know the parameters under which Jonathan has to work. Clearly he's good at what he does, but I just sometimes get so disappointed in what he does with the hair, because I feel like when you're creating this whole crescendo for the person, take them out of their comfort zone. What did you do? Her hair was down here, now you took it up there. Like,
I can do that in quarantine.
I just wanted to see her come full circle with something dramatic and crazy, so she could come downstairs and be like, yes, y'all didn't see this. You know what I mean? And I just got a little disappointed. the whole season with Jonathan, but this was the start. Where I was just
there's some of that going on for sure. I don't disagree. Let's get back into that because I have other comments on the makeover part too. Of other comments on that.
Gotcha.
But let's talk about the actual process to, bring this girl into her own. I personally really loved Antoni's part in it because as you were talking about the kitchen and this conversation of her personal things that she does is where she gets uncomfortable. So his part that he played in it, getting her those fresh veg and being able to make something that she feels is a part of her. I thought that was very important because he was able to connect with something that had absolutely nothing to do with climate change, nothing to do with work. And he connected with her that way. Bryant, what did you think of your boy Tan's makeover?
So I'll kind of echo what Kitty said because I agree with Jonathan, but I think what the issue with this girl was not an issue, but what was their struggle for the Fab Five was that she was the most reluctant. Yes. She didn't want to make these big changes. So even with her clothes, she's like, oh, okay, that's pretty. But like, she didn't want to take these crazy wild leaps with her clothing. So I'm sure the same thing with her hair. Jonathan probably wanted to cut it all off. And she's like, oh, girl, like stay away.
Yeah.
So that's,
a good point.
That's what I was thinking too, because I 100% see how like Jonathan could like offer something and she would be very, very reluctant. So probably the same thing. That's what I saw with Tan as well. Like he had picked up all these amazing looks, and I do feel like it was kind of still in her same realm. It could have been a little bit more amped up and a little bit more because like she mentioned AOC, and I was like, girl, AOC looks like amazing. Like AOC always brings it to the party, so that's why I was like, if you would have made her snatch like AOC, I mean, she was beautiful anyways, but that was just my thing. I agree with you, Kitty, that I feel like there was a little bit less of a transformation this time. It was more just like an inward transformation, if that makes sense. So for this episode in particular, I loved what Bobby did because again, like, about the sustainability, like he did not waste any piece of material, any old couch, like he refreshed that, refurbished it, and made it work in this amazing, beautiful home for them.
No doubt. And she did get some cute little pieces though.
Yeah.
Some
hold her down. Like he didn't just throw some t-shirts and jeans at her. She
Yeah.
definitely can. That first dress, because she's so itty bitty tiny.
Yeah, it was good.
I thought it kind of like overwhelmed her. But then when I saw her put it all together, I was like, okay, I can see that in a different scenario. You know what I mean? Clearly that's not for the barbecue. But in a certain arena, I can see how that would fit. So I love
for sure
the pieces, and I love that she was open to a lot more than I anticipated. I thought she was just gonna be like, now I'll just take the gray. And
you know what I mean? Anything that matches the earth. That's what
right. The earth, exactly. I don't even need this. Just put 2 pieces of glass on my boobies. Throw a sheet. Let's go. Okay.
Not the pasties. Not the pasties.
Too true. I also really liked Karamo and his approach with her because he met her at her age.
Yes.
He was not talking to her like these other, I think that's maybe where Tan's downfall was a little bit, is that he was speaking to her like she was a young woman, but he wasn't actually meeting her there and treating her like one.
Right.
And so they probably should have been shopping somewhere else. And
it was very old.
Like she did not need that girl could have gone to H&M.
Seriously,
and,
she will not. The girl H&M would be her.
Or Zara.
Like
Zara would have been
H&M and like Saks.
Exactly.
Or, Nordstrom.
Yeah.
Yes.
She did not need to be where the adults were. That was not it. And so when Karamo was literally like, do you want to skip? And she was like, yeah. And she got this childlike glow about her that she got to be a kid. And when that was happening, I was like, I bet this girl hasn't been a kid ever. I bet she's just been an adult the whole time.
To think about that, Trina, like what you mentioned with her being a kid, to get this, like she got this fellowship right out of college. That means she had been working towards it
out of high school.
During high school. Yeah, I mean, out of high school. So like during high school, during the time before that, she had been working towards this fellowship, towards this career.
Yes.
So like you've mentioned, she probably wasn't even living a typical high school life or a typical childhood because she was already so hitting the ground running for her career and for this important cause.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get into the makeover. Oh, actually, one thing that was very cool that she met was it
Congresswoman or council member. Council member.
It was someone that she'd already
fanned out.
Yeah,
she did.
That was
so
very
cute.
Cool. Because I think that we got perspective then on what she sees herself as. And so I think leading into, even though that woman was dressed in a snazzy, you know, she was top to bottom. She looked great. But I think that this girl takes herself, she wants to, like what we were just joking about, earth tones. She wants to make sure that she is that.
Yeah.
So that people know she is climate change, she is environmental, and she's not flashy. And so I think that's where there was such a disconnect because what she was saying was not right. And he should have been like, or just, you know, let's put something out
because
that
he
looks,
was like trying to prod from her, and she was like, I want to look mature, I want people to take me seriously. But I don't think that's what she wanted. I do agree that she still wants to be very natural, be very earth conscious. And I think what Tan could have done was find a way to meet in the middle. And I think that's where, like you said, it was a disconnect, because you can still be earth and beautiful, nice, green, neutral tones, but be professional. So I think that was where it kind of was a miss.
For sure. Kitty,
I have to admit, I did love when she fanned out. I'm sorry.
That was good. Because that was like one of 3 real moments that we got from this kid. And, you know, not that we should expect them from her, because like we all said, we've been 18 too, and that's not easy either. And so, but yeah, that was such a real moment where it's like, I see you, I see what you want to be. This makes sense. We got it.
It totally validated that for her. And that was so awesome.
So good. Loved it. Kitty, what would you have done with her hair?
The bob was super cute. I would go with you can't go wrong with the bob. Duh.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Bangs or no bangs. Very rarely does anyone have a face that doesn't fit a bob. It's just too easy. I would have liked for him to just take it up a little higher in the back to give it, like for them to go a little higher and just have it like be those dramatic points.
Yes,
that would have been a good look, because obviously she couldn't do her little messy ponytail with that look, but that would have forced her to, like, you know, kind of come out of that ponytail thing, because at the end of the day, there was nothing in her work that prohibited her from having her hair down.
That's such a good point. She does a lot of office work, public speaking.
With every day, just because how hard is it? You literally are just like, done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
And also, he gave the cut that she would have to curl.
Yes,
yeah, because if you have to style that, it's just gonna fall flat.
You have to style that, even
just
if like a bunch of mousse and crunches, you still have to put effort into, like, why
you
not
have to do
her
it.
Tight bob, bangs or no bangs, whatever. If she had the part in the middle, you know what I mean, and just comb that thing with the wide tooth comb while it's still wet, and then whatever curls she had, they would have come naturally anyway.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because that girl wants to just roll out of bed and start working. Like, she doesn't have time to look in the mirror and fix her hair.
Exactly.
Yes. So true. That's a good point. I love that.
So we understand where she should have been with hair and clothes, maybe because, I don't know, we just saw her a little bit differently, and we saw the edited version, the cut up. But I'm sure that these guys were like pulling out of her that whole week and did, you know, what they could do. Let's talk about the house. I think the house was the biggest, grandest thing of, So I was shocked. Brian, what'd you think?
For sure. It was so beautiful. Again, love the details. That little paint swatch thing, that was adorable. I want that in my room. Like, so cute. I loved it so much. Cute. And yeah, it was just, like I said, the details, a nod to what they already were trying to do, a nod to just their work that they're doing, the fact that they have so many people coming in and so many people that they work with. So beautiful. And it was very, very modern but earthy. It was very contemporary but still humble as they are. So it was such a great transformation.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Tell us, Kitty, what was your favorite part of the downstairs?
I have to say that it was a toss-up between exactly what you just said, Brian. I actually forgot about the wall, so thank you for that reminder. Because what is better than that? Literally, you're leaving a piece of you. Okay, quick. You guys know I talk too much, so I'm gonna keep it cute. But I work for this company called Shinola. Right? They are huge on like giving back to the community. Everything they do is in an attempt to foster community and recycling and all that, but they're like higher end items. But they make everything from like, they're most known for their watches. So they make everything from like very nice watches, but they're all American made too. And that's a whole message. Don't get me started. I'm really a fan. I love Shinola, but the thing that stands out in my mind about that company that reminds me of this is that everything they do is in an attempt to make sure, I said that part. I love, oh God, I forgot I'm all reclept. I'm sorry. Oh, that's what it was. The fact that okay, so when they first started the store, they put it in Detroit on purpose because Detroit needs a boost. It needs an economic kind of zhuzh, you know. Obviously, it still hasn't recovered from the riots and all the rest of that. So they did that on purpose. Everyone that came into their store, they encouraged them to write something cute, nice, beautiful on a sticky note, not about themselves, but about whomever else, their dog, their mother, whatever, and then put it on this wall. So then once the wall was all the way filled up, they took down all the sticky notes, piled them up, and took them to this dog park down the street that they had like put a big old clock in, just like donated a clock to the park, but it was dog park. Put the stickies all over the ground, watered them, and created grass.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, that is
so that's
so
sustainability.
Wow.
That's what it
amazing.
made me think of. How cool is that? The person obviously that made the sticky notes infused seeds into the actual paper.
Whoa.
So they were not only celebrating life and celebrating happiness and goodness and, you know, write something about someone else so you're paying it forward, but you literally are paying it forward by having the dogs have a place to come where they can do their business on some grass. I just thought that was so that reminded me of, and I thought that was so dope. The other thing that I loved about the house too, the downstairs, was the wall. How important was that? That's what I mean. Stuff that they see that we don't see.
It was really important.
Like, we're not going to tear this wall down.
No.
We're going to create it and make it functional. And so that you can see what's going on. So when you start to get overwhelmed, when you feel like you need some help, when you're when you over here sweating bullets because you're not doing it right, or whatever anxiety hits you during this cooking process, you can literally just look up and be like, check this out, Joanne. Girl, come on over here.
Real life is over there.
You don't have to leave the stove. You don't have to come around the wall and like. I just thought that was genius. And then it was bright yellow. It was so pretty.
So good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the dinner. So they set up Bobby set up this dining area to where everyone could sit at the table finally, and all their people could sit together at the table and they could have this meal. And she cooked the meal. She had her friends there. Her friends were so excited to see her look. And it looked like she was having fun, excited to see them, excited to show her however she felt about her newness. Bryant, what did you think of the reveal to her people?
I loved it. And I loved how they were just so taken aback because they were the one that nominated her, you know? So they were like, they saw the light that was brought to her that was dimmed before the Fab Five came, you know? So again, just loved how they come in, they come in the right time. Like you said, they just bring something out of the person, the hero, and just really change their life. So it's so beautiful to see. Loved how the friends were so supportive of her. And I mean, I'm hoping that this does so much good for the world because I know they're doing such amazing things already.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that they were all so excited that it actually worked.
Yes.
And
that she took to it some way.
Because I think they were their shock is probably from, oh wow, they were actually able to crack this tough cookie and make her, you know, be the woman that they already knew she was.
Exactly.
I thought that was amazing. And she's only 18, guys. Like, what are we gonna see from this girl?
From college or not? Is she
high school?
She's on she's right out of high school.
She's on gap year doing a fellowship.
Yeah. Crazy.
I know.
It is so crazy.
I'm trying to think at 18, I definitely was moving into my field. So that's the blessing. Like I knew in high school what I wanted to do. So I had already tapped into like internships and stuff, but obviously nothing of this caliber. And you better believe I was coming home to my mama's house so I can have some.
Yeah, she was
prepared for me.
Sleeping and breathing.
Right.
Yeah, this was like work.
I feel like I was focused and I kind of knew, but not to this, obviously.
For sure. Yeah. High focus for someone that age is one thing, but then this girl like doing actual work and change and all of that stuff is so crazy. Anybody have any final thoughts on the episode that they want to share? Final thoughts about the Fab Five, about Abby, anything?
I definitely, as we've already said, I think Bobby killed it. Yeah, like he hit it right on the nail, or the nail on the head. Everything.
Wherever he hit it, he did it.
Yeah, exactly. He did, but I've yet to be disappointed. To be honest with you, I've yet to be disappointed at Bobby. For me to think initially, remember I told y'all he does this thing, that wasn't sincere, but now I can see that it most certainly is, and that's just who he is. And I mean, from start to finish, I was impressed with that, and I love the Karamu, and it's so funny. That's so dope. I love these conversations because it really does shift my paradigm. I see it this way, and then you introduce something, I'm just like, oh yeah, because I remember them skipping, but I remember being like, okay, what's this about? Like, why can't what's the extras?
Because we're not 18.
Child,
yeah.
Be reminded that life is glorious.
Yeah.
Take it all in, not just the hard work till 3 a.m, not just the appearances that you have to make and the sacrifices that you're making. Because clearly she didn't have a balance. So I love that they introduced a balance to her. You are not about to get away with talking about my social time is already tied. And no, Booski, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
No. Y'all jump on some bikes and go ride.
Yeah.
Right?
Or the tandem bikes was adorable.
Yes.
The tandem bike's so good.
Just find some joy outside that absolutely drives you. Because before you know it, sweetie, you will be 45 looking around like, I put my entire life, blood, sweat, and tears into this. And I have no kids. I don't have a husband. I have nobody to answer. You know, that, not that those are, maybe that's not good for you, but whatever the joy is, I haven't traveled, whatever the joy is, find that balance now, mama, so you can foster that, so it can be a part of your life. So you don't even think about it when you're like, okay, I'm shutting down. I got to do my meditation. For that becomes a part of your thing, so that you don't have to try to insert that later in life, because the older you get, the harder that stuff is.
Absolutely. You hear that, Abby? You watch?
Yes. What I would say too, I
Brian.
love the councilwoman, but AOC should have made an appearance. Where was AOC?
I know, right?
They could have called that girl from DC, drive up and meet them over there in Philly.
And made that happen real quick.
Good luck.
Wait, she's not even in DC. She's in New York. So just come on over, girl.
Just do a little, take a boat bus there. Wasn't gonna happen. Anything else, Brian? Any other words aside from your demands?
No, loved it. Loved, like you mentioned, the innocence, the childhood, so beautiful, and I'm really happy that she did get this. She deserved it.
She did deserve it.
Deserved it completely, and so glad she got to start anew with the fellowship too, and actually have a positive experience the whole time she's there. Yes. So I think we might have a special segment with our producer right now, but if
we didn't preface it with him,
we didn't. See that? Yes. He's here.
How we doing, y'all?
Yeah.
Amazing.
This is our special segment. This is our wonderful producer, Ryan Nilsson. He's here for us to just, let him know if he needs the Fab Five or if he really killed it himself today.
I think I need it.
You do?
I might. Let's see.
It looks pretty signature. It looks signature. Your hair looks good today too.
Thank you. I didn't even put product in it. It just woke up like this.
Yeah, come on,
so we got a little blue Columbia there. We are also rocking this with a
yellow pant.
A green.
Okay.
A verde.
Green.
It's a verde.
Very summer.
I love that. You know what? That's very preppy of you. I remember being in junior high and going to like a very prep kind of school, and all the girls ever wore was navy and green. They would put those things together, and it was very like alligator-ish and polo-ish. I love it, boo. Very
yes.
Thank you so much, Kitty.
We stand, booski.
That's an A, Ryan.
I can't even compete with any of you. So.
Oh,
you look great.
Stop.
Not even.
You look perfect. And he's disappearing. Ryan's signature looks are something that we cannot compete with. Let's all face it. Do we have news today, or there's not really news going on, huh? That's okay.
Yeah, I gotta. Definitely for the next show, I'm all over it.
Don't even worry about it. Let's quick talk about what we want. I know that we know basically who is on the rest of the season, probably because we've all did a little sneak peek.
Yeah.
But is there a dream of anything that you guys want for this show? I personally would like some sort of celebrity element into the show. Maybe like a celebrity nominates someone to come on the show and we have a little bit of like a surprise moment.
Yes.
Like a fan writes a celebrity or something, and then the celebrity nominates, and then the celebrity shows up and says, "Oh my God, you look perfect." Something like that.
I would
love
that. Especially if they were like, what if they're like an aspiring singer? You know what I mean?
Or something.
And their fashion icons is like Chloe and Halle, and then Chloe, Halle, and Beyonce show up. Woo!
And you're like, what?
Yeah.
They just showed up together? The trifecta showed up together?
Lose my shit. You hear me?
So fun.
I
don't think it should not be every episode, because there's a reason why this is not a celebrity-based show.
Yeah.
But I think for a fun like teaser, like YouTube video, something. Yeah, we could have something like that. Anybody have any other dreams like me? Daydreams about things like this?
No, I love that. That's actually perfect. It kind of brings in everything.
Like maybe next show I'll be able to come up with something. But right off the top of my head, you trumped us, girl. You got that.
Yes, I love that.
You hear us, Netflix? We want something from you.
We're producing. We're coming on as producers next season.
All right, guys. That is it for episode 5, Queer Eye After Show tonight. But guess what? We are on in about 25 minutes at 6 p.m. Pacific time to go over episode 6. So please tune in to us there. Until then, we have a little break. So Kitty, where can they find you on social?
Please talk to me, baby, on IG at Kitty Meow, KITTIE KABOOM, and on what's the other one, y'all? Twitter. Kitty Meow.
Twitter. Kitty Meow. Bryant.
Yes, you can find me on all social platforms at the Brian Santos, and catch AfterBuzz TV's gay Twitter if you love Queer Eye.
Yes, and y'all can find me at Hey Trina Dong on Twitter and Instagram. We will see you guys next episode. Until then, bye.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.